A massive gray wolf stands perfectly still on a snow-covered ridge under the pale moonlight. His sharp ears twitch as a distant, strange scent carried by the wind hits his nostrils. Down in the valley, a single small campfire crackles quietly against the vast, freezing darkness. Beside the fading amber glow, a human stick figure lies entirely motionless inside a sleeping bag. The wolf lowers his head, his golden eyes locking intensely on the vulnerable form below. Every biological rule of nature suggests this is an effortless, unprotected meal. Yet, a profound, invisible barrier seems to freeze the predator's powerful limbs in place. He slowly backs away, turning his body toward the safety of the dense, dark pine trees. An unwritten law of the wilderness has just dictated his sudden retreat. Across the planet, the most ferocious apex predators share this identical, mysterious restraint. A huge male tiger prowls through the thick, humid jungles of India during the midnight hours. He stops instantly as the faint silhouette of a small human settlement appears through the vines. The large cat carefully alters his path, creating a wide detour around the quiet mud huts. He deliberately gives up a prime hunting territory filled with familiar deer and wild boar. To wild beasts, a human being is not just another animal wandering the earth. We are viewed as completely unique, untouchable, and deeply unnatural entities. A study conducted in the African savanna broadcasted normal human voices near a watering hole. Terrified elephants and massive lions immediately scattered in all directions upon hearing the speech. They abandoned their vital water source just to escape the simple sound of our conversations. The mere presence of our voice carries a heavy evolutionary weight that triggers primal panic. This universal dread is not an accident or a modern development of wildlife behavior. It is a hardwired biological memory etched into their genetic code over 2 million years. Our early ancestors were not weak prey, running away from the horrors of the dark. We were the most ruthless, calculated exterminators the planet had ever witnessed. Early humans wielding crude stone spears systematically hunted giant mammoths into total extinction. Saber-toothed cats and massive cave bears vanished within centuries of human arrival in their zones. Any bold predator that approached a prehistoric human settlement was immediately wiped out. Only the exceptionally cautious animals that avoided humans managed to survive and reproduce. Natural selection permanently favored the beasts that treated our species as a lethal hazard. Over thousands of generations, that learned caution became a rigid, inherited instinct. When a modern leopard detects your scent, a deeply embedded evolutionary alarm instantly fires. A biological memory screams at the creature to preserve its life and move away. Our synthetic footprint creates a highly confusing olfactory profile for a wild animal. A grizzly bear operates with a sense of smell 7 times stronger than a bloodhound. As he approaches a modern campsite, his sensitive nostrils are hit by a bizarre chemical flood. The human broadcasts odors of manufactured plastics, synthetic fabrics, and artificial soaps. Processed food snacks and harsh insect repellents create a thoroughly unnatural cocktail. A predator's striking instinct is a finely tuned mechanism calibrated to specific organic prey. A cougar reacts to the smell and predictable panic of a fleeing mountain deer. Anomalies and foreign chemical scents trigger intense caution rather than aggressive drive. Furthermore, the ancient mastery of fire provides humans with an absolute psychological shield. Fire is one of the very few stimuli that causes an innate fear response across all land mammals. Animals that naturally feared fire survived devastating prehistoric forest blazes. For thousands of years, sleeping next to a roaring campfire was our default security system. The glowing embers broadcast a brilliant warning into the shadows that a fire controller is near. Muang Thu understood the message perfectly, passing the fear down to their offspring. Pop culture movies have spent decades falsely portraying apex predators as reckless killing machines. In reality, a large predator is an extraordinarily careful, calculating survivalist. A wild lion does not possess a modern hospital or medication to heal an injury. A single deep bite wound or a broken leg results in a slow death by starvation. Every single engagement with an unfamiliar target is a strict mathematical risk calculation. A sleeping human completely fails this calculation due to extreme behavioral unpredictability. The strange primate might jump awake, screaming, wield a tool, or summon a defensive group. Our default bipedal, upright posture makes us look remarkably large and imposing. Standing on two hind legs is a universal threat display used by great apes to intimidate. Even when resting, our silhouette reads as inherently dominant to a observing predator. The risk-reward math simply makes no sense to a rational, calculating wild animal. A wolf pack will always prefer the easy, familiar deer grazing in the quiet valley. Human sleep is also far from the completely helpless state we assume it to be. We experience rest in shifting cycles, frequently returning to lighter REM sleep stages. During these light intervals, the human brain maintains a highly responsive sentinel function. A sudden snap of a twig or a change in air pressure breaks through to awareness instantly. The heavy sleepers of our evolutionary past were caught and failed to pass on their DNA. Our short, light sleep cycles are a beautiful legacy of survival against the night. Humans also exist as highly cooperative, collective group structures. Predators understand group dynamics deeply, always searching for the isolated individual. A tight campsite of humans represents a chaotic, collective defense situation for an intruder. Rare attacks do happen, but they invariably follow a broken ecological rule. It involves a starving predator, a desperate old beast with broken teeth, or a ruined habitat. When an ecosystem is intact and healthy, the ancient laws of caution remain absolute. The fear we generate ripples outward, shifting the behavior of the global food web. You carry 10,000 generations of successful apex dominance written in your DNA. The next time you listen to the rustling leaves beyond the canvas wall, breathe easy. That little pulse of anxiety is just a beautiful, ancient instinct keeping you sharp. The terrifying Dunthu outside knows much better than to cross into your circle of light. A gentle breeze moves through the dark canopy of the forest trees. Moonlight reflects softly on a clear stream running past the valley baseline. The single wolf lowers his gaze, disappearing completely into the deep shadows. The tiny campfire slowly burns down to soft gray ash on the dirt. Inside the nylon shelter, a steady, rhythmic breathing continues, completely undisturbed. The natural world maintains a respectful distance from the ultimate ruler of the earth. Every blade of grass stands perfectly still in the crisp midnight air. A distant owl hoots once, marking the peaceful passage of the dark hours. The genetic warning remains highly active, a silent guardian over the wilderness. No claws will strike, and no sharp teeth will approach the camp tonight. The calculation of the wild is finalized, and absolute safety reigns supreme. An ancient bond of fear ensures a perfect peace between two separate worlds. The human brain rests deeply, protected by a legacy 2 million years in the making. Morning light begins to color the eastern horizon in soft pink hues. The predators have long returned to their dens, leaving the camp untouched. A new day breaks, proving the supreme power written in our biological code. The thin campfire smoke vanishes entirely into the vast blue morning sky. A small forest bird chirps loudly from the top of a green pine branch. The sleeping stickman stirs slightly, turning comfortably on his white pillow. A profound sense of serenity settles over the empty mountain landscape. Nature has followed the evolutionary script with perfect, absolute obedience. The magnificent beasts of the earth continue to walk their own distant paths. They remember the red flame, the loud voices, and the ancient spear of the hunter. The lesson of survival is successfully passed down to the next wild litter. Keep your distance, preserve your life, and never challenge the creature of fire. The long story of the night ends in flawless, undisturbed silence. The cycle of the savannah continues, balanced by an invisible scale of respect. A human footprint remains pressed firmly into the damp soil near the water. No animal steps onto the mark, bypassing it with meticulous, instinctual care. The world belongs entirely to the one who learned to control the blazing spark. Sleep is a vulnerability, transformed into a magnificent display of dominance. The fierce eyes in the dark have completely faded away with the rising sun. The forest belongs to the quiet peace of the early morning hours. Every creature knows its specific place within the grand design of the planet. The boundary holds firm, unbroken by hunger or passing curiosity. A safe haven exists wherever a human decides to lay down their head. The genetic code has spoken, and the wilderness has listened with respect. The magnificent journey of human survival continues through the modern age. We carry the immense strength of millions of ancestors who conquered the dark. The modern tent is merely a modern symbol of an ancient fortress built of fear. No apex predator will ever dare to cross that invisible line of history. The calculations of risk remain permanent in the minds of the wild hunters. A deer runs past the empty camp, completely ignored by the resting wolves. The focus remains on safety, on surviving to see another beautiful sunset. The balance of power is clear, permanently etched in the dust of the earth. The stickman opens his eyes, looking up at the bright canvas roof. A warm smile forms on his face as he hears the familiar birds. The night has passed without a single shadow touching his fragile shelter. The ancient agreement has been honored once more by the forces of nature. The great kingdom of the wild remains beautiful, distant, and deeply respectful. Our legacy is secure, written in the stars and the DNA of every beast. The campfire is now just a quiet circle of gray ash on the ground. The journey of life moves forward, guided by the wisdom of the past. The most dangerous animal on earth prepares to start another day. A quiet power resonates through the simple act of standing upright again. The environment adapts, reacting to the presence of the ultimate ruler. The story of survival is a song that never stops playing in the dark. We are the architects of the ecosystem, shaping it through our silent fear. The great predators watch from afar, acknowledging the king of the world. Every single night is a victory, a testament to the code that protects us all. The lines of line art remain clean, framing a picture of security. The white background opens up, welcoming the bright light of the sun. The final calculation is simple. You are safe because they know better. The wilderness remains an open book, and humans hold the final pen. The circle of life closes its eyes, resting until the next twilight arrives. The stickman steps out of the tent, ready to face the wide world. The balance is maintained, and the unwritten law remains supreme forever.